दुर्लभ मानव जनम सत संगे तरहु हे भव सिंधुरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंद नंदन अभय चरणार विंदरे शीतआतप बात बरिसण ए दिन जामिनी जागिरे विफले से बिनु कृपण दुरजन सफल सुफल लागिरे ए धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इथे की आछे पर तीरे कमल दल जल जीवन कलमल भजहु हरिपद नीतिरे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवन दास्यरे पूजन सखी जन आत्मा निवेदन गोविंद दास विलासरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंद नंदन अभय चरणार विंदरे हरे 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 कृष्ण प्रभु
continue I said
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Very nice Prabhu, very nice voice and nicely sung.
Thank you Prabhu. Thank you Vikesh. Prabhuji, Bharat Prabhu, can you just adjust your the camera because your face is only half seen?
Yeah. Okay, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu, it's perfect now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Hare Krishna. So welcome all the devotees for today's session. So we don't need any introduction about Bharat Prabhu. He is a pioneer. He is one of the strong pillars of Krishna Katha Desh, and he is kind of a Adi Guru for all of many of us in this forum. We whatever today we are, it is purely Prabhu's mercy. Prabhu is one of the initial founders and the carriers of Krishna Katha Desh flag, victory flag, and today Krishna Katha Desh is very successful among the Middle East. One of the most successful in Middle East is just because of Prabhu and a few other Radhajivan Prabhu and Vaikuntha Prabhu. They're all put their sweat and blood for all of us, and we are enjoying the fruits today. We are so much of intended to Prabhu. Prabhu has done lots of sacrifice. We know we physically being there at time Prabhu's period. We know how much Prabhu and other initial the founders they struggled to give this kind of happy moments of Krishna consciousness in we are enjoying today. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for being with us and guiding us. It is really our fortune. We are all very, very eager to hear from you time and again because your messages, your instructions are so practical. It is not just theoretical messages what we get from you, but practical tips on how to lead life, Krishna conscious life in this current situation is what we are getting from you. Thank you so much once again, Prabhuji. Over to you so that we can hear the further nectar from your lotus mouth.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I don't know whether I deserve all your comments because probably we have started the movement in KKD, but the way in which you people are advancing, I'm really, really happy because what is the effect of what you call the Guru Dakshina for the Siksha Gurus is the performance of the followers who are doing better than the Guru themselves. So that is a very encouraging thing as far as the entire Gulf is concerned. Not only KKD, Madhya Desh, Bharatagraja Dasa, all these people are devotees are really exalted and they are moving quite ahead of us. So that is really baffling to us.
So it is all because of the foundation our Shiksha
so maybe,
like
but Prabhu, because to catch up with the thing is also essential because if you are not the tempo is not maintained by you people, I don't think this would have grown to this extent because this is something amazing. Because in India, the 13 years of my struggle here, I'm not able to make as many devotees as I could have made in a month's time in Krishna Katha Desh. So things are difficult, but still we have to try because the mission of Srila Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, we are all only an insignificant soul in that movement. So what kind of sacrifice Srila Prabhupada did and our Guru Maharaj did for all the Maharajas rather is something amazing. Today what we are here standing tall is because of those people putting in a lot of effort. So we have become an insignificant people in the movement of ISKCON. Thanks, Prabhu. We'll start up. I don't know whether I'm qualified to talk about Chaitanya Charitamrita because His Holiness Guru Maharaj always lived with the character. That is because Chaitanya Charitamrita is not like Bhagavad or Bhagavatam. You must live with the characters. Nityananda Prabhu, Gauranga Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya. All these people are pioneers by their sheer body language. They taught us so many of the instructions. So let me make a small attempt to do some justice to this particular Madhya Lila chapter. So we'll start off with a small kirtan and we'll go into the class. Jaya Advaita. Sir. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So always nice to associate with Gulf devotees because they are always in touch with the current happening in ISKCON. That is one, because in India, because of lack of association, lack of classes, we are always lagging behind in so many advanced information. What Gulf people are really making an effort to keep in pace with the current situation in ISKCON. That is one thing which we have to appreciate. So, Om Ajnananda Mirandasya Jnana Chalakaya Kacharamilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sabinam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Sata Tisma Padam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uda Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sri Gurun Satya Kayana Sanatan Satvedam Savadudam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha Ye Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagat Pare Gopesha Gopika Kantash Radha Kanta Namaste Takta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhavan Sudhe Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakarta Darbhyasa Kripa Sindhave Vachaya Patitanam Bhavanepya Vaishnavapyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are moving into the second book of Madhya Lila. So this is the middle period of the Chaitanya Lila. So Yakkumara Haraha, recited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was captured by Priyaso I am Krishna by Rupa Goswami, and we are going to see that. And Rupa Sanatana Jiva Goswami wrote many books according to this introduction. And I always, inspired to go through the philosophical treatise of Jiva Goswami because it's called Tattva Acharya in ISKCON. But unfortunately, I'm not able to access many of the books written by Jiva Goswami in Chennai. And also in the chapter, we're going to see the meeting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramkeli with Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. So this is the small synopsis of the introduction. So you know that Adi Lila was written by Murari Gupta, then Madhya Lila and Anta Lila by Swarup Damodar. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, of course, was Murari Gupta, and Chaitanya Mangala by Lochana Das Thakura, Chaitanya Bhagavata by Vrindavana Das Thakura. Then later on, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami took a lead from Raghunath Goswami and returned this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the kind of ecstasy Goswami has undergone during the writing of the thing, many of the palm leaves got destroyed because of his continuous tears of experiencing, not only was not writing, he was also experiencing the Leelas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is why sometimes when Ishwari Puri gave him initiation, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming out of his first initiation, the second initiation was given by Kesava Bharati, but first initiation when he got Kiba mantra dila gosani, kiba tare bala, jabite mantra, karile pagal. So what kind of strength this mantra had? And when I start chanting, I became mad. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu experiences through this particular mantra. So I always used to wonder what kind of mood with which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be chanting. Although he is the incarnation of the Lord himself, the kind of, never even once, because normally the Alvars also say that when you come in front of the deity, the tears flows down the eyes, and when you start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you are, you should fumble. That kind of mood I never experienced in my life, because I always only read. But I wish to experience this kind of mood when we do. But the problem is the purity is lacking probably. That must be, I found out through my senior devotee why the same thing is not happening to us, because this problem is with our purification. So when you see, when Srila Guru Maharaj always visits Krishna Katha Desh, he will take the, we always instruct Chaitanya Charitamrita through him, because he lives with the character. Sometimes tears will roll down his eyes as if, he has gone into the Leela. So anyway, although we are not that, I'm not that qualified, but I'll try to explain some of the thing which I understood according to my little knowledge. Yes. So the first 6 years, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after sannyas, he visited many places in India. The 18 years he stayed in Nilachal. So that was his stay with Jagannath Puri, and he used to visit the temple almost on a daily basis. So although only Sikshashtaka is the instruction available directly through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through many of the interaction with Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Ramananda Raya, we are able to catch up with, of course, Swarup Damodar and all. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to interact with them. Some of the instruction we give. Also, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his body language only conveyed many of the things, Prabhu. That is the one advantage of having the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. Unfortunately, it was nearly 500 years back. So although we are lagging in that sort of Vapu, and only Vani is available now. So those people are very lucky having associated directly with the Lord in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the thing in, see, the experts have written about this 16 slokas. So first we will go through that, and then I will start chanting the slokas later. So according to this, the slokas, all the jivas get parents, but to get a guru, it is only by Krishna's mercy we get the guru. So this is the advantage of being in Krishna consciousness. So devotional service is from this slogan we call, this is the essence of Vedic knowledge, but it is not something which is sentimental. So it is the essence of Vedic knowledge is devotional service. It is not something, because many people think we are all sentimentalists, but that is not true according to this particular thing. So even going through this thing, when Rupa Goswami got the meaning, essence of Mahaprabhu's recitation in Puri, but he could capture the actual meaning. So that is why many a time we are put into Maya, because we don't understand even Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhavata, because there are so many hidden meanings in each and of this every book. So even Balram was put into Maya many a times. Even in Brahma Lila, we see in the last only Krishna reveals to Balram the who are the Gopas. He said Madhumangal and other devotees were hidden by Krishna through his Brahma Mahalila, and the last stage of the Leela which ends, only at the time Krishna tells Balram, look at the cows and the calves and the other Gopas, they are all myself only. He said, why you did hide from me? Because I said, if miss the association of Madhumangal and other devotees of Krishna, you may go into Viragadaba. So that's why I didn't reveal, I revealed in the last only. That is what Krishna tells Balram. So if Balram could go into Moha, what about us when we go through this Chaitanya Charitamrita? And when even in Kaliya Nardana, Balram was very clear on certain things. When Yasodamai wanted to jump into the river to save Krishna, Balram stopped her and from jumping. Many people want to jump into the river. And when people were weeping, Balram could pacify them. When they said that they were worried about Krishna when he jumped into the river, Balram was not at all worried, because he knew that he is the Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and was there a hearty Lord. But the same Balram was put into Brahma Moha Lila when the Lila took place. So this is the very essence of the mood of the devotees here. Because many people, when we have a pre-qualification for, many people ask why we are not allowed to attend the Chaitanya Charitamrita straight away, because he says this Leela is so hidden, and only a certain level of purity is required for understanding this the Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and their associates. So when we instruct some people, normally they don't tend to take it, because it so happens that subject matter of preaching is devotional service, and by shastric injunction and instruction of the superiors, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when we are having these sort of things in material world, especially when we disqualify some people for initiation, at the time they don't understand why we are disqualifying people from initiation. It so happened in Krishna Katha Desh that once we have to hold the initiation of 3 people, they got very upset with me. They wanted to approach Guru Maharaj. I allowed them, and I told Guru Maharaj, these 3 people I could not qualify. Then he said that send them to me, I will talk to them. You stay outside the room. I stayed outside the room, and after some time, after 10 minutes, they came out smiling. I thought that maybe Guru Maharaj has approved their initiation. He said that Guru Maharaj told me to hold for some time. So the same thing when I said those people could not take it because they couldn't understand at the time that other people are being given and I'm being discriminated. So that is the kind of real Vaishnavas, they have their communication skill. So you see that it is always say, wow, Guru Maharaj has this what is quality from the Lord himself, say, what to speak of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhavaduka is little speech and more meaning is conveyed by Guru Maharaj and Priyamada, because I'm not able to convince the devotees through my explanation, but Guru Maharaj can do, like when Kaliya was asked to go from the Yamuna river, Krishna could put a very word in a very polite way to Kaliya to move out of the Yamuna river. And he always, Krishna speaks only Satya, like our Guru Maharaj, like Kunti Devi was assured by Krishna that your Pandavas will be taken care. And Vibhita is multiple languages Krishna used to speak, like Guru Maharaj speaks Bengali, speaks English, so many foreign languages. So when I could not convince the devotees, Guru Maharaj could do it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the same problem, convincing Gadadhara Pandita to stay in his place and not to come to Puri to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Many people felt bad when they could associate directly with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it very clear. This association is more than association, is spreading of Krishna. That's why he made Nityananda Prabhu stay in his holy place and spread Krishna's name. So many people cannot understand this sort of thing. When Prabhupada was traveling, many people wanted to travel with him. Prabhupada also said, traveling with me is not going to serve any purpose. You stay in your place and try to preach according to your capacity. Everything will catch up by Krishna's message. This is what Prabhupada also said. Sometime when yatras are being conducted, many times I get a complaint that I have been discriminated. I am not given the chance to go to yatra. But when I told some people that when Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj told a devotee that he is telling that I am not allowed to go to yatra, so I will leave the satsanga. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj told him, it is up to you to stay or leave. Now this is what sometimes when the Guru tried to communicate things, it is difficult for the devotees to understand because they are not purified enough. So this has happened even during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, that this sort of thing had happened. So here in this chapter, we also come across what is the difference between a devotee and a Sahajiya. Sahajiyas are independent of Vedas. They don't follow the Vedas. They are improper in their behavior. That means they associate with women, wine and drink and all those things. Imitation. So there is no authenticity. They also dress like Krishna. They act like Krishna. They do imitation. Impertinent. They are violating all the rules laid down by Mahaprabhu. So, but devotees follow the scriptures. They had a proper behavior. There is no imitation of the Lord at any point of time, and they always follow the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here it is said. Most confidential knowledge of Vrindavan Lila is Shishtachar, Vichar and Prachar. So Shishtachar is Sambhijivnas, Vichar is study of the Shastras, Prachar is through Sankirtan. So this is the rule laid by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and people are following it. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited the verse, only Rupa Goswami could make out what is the real meaning of the verse. Although the name of Krishna and Radharani was present, not present in the particular verse, but Rupa Goswami could capture the characters. So to that extent, Rupa Goswami was very, very elevated and he could associate closely with Mahaprabhu because of his high understanding of Mahaprabhu's instruction. So we also always, so these things are also given. Achar, Prachar and Vichar, Prachar. So Achar is to follow a certain instruction given by the spiritual master. Vichar is to understand the instruction properly, and then Prachar, so that our mission will be fulfilled. So to go into Vrindavan Lila is very, very difficult unless you are totally total knowledge of the scriptures, at least not total, at least a part of the knowledge. Once one Mataji called Mandagini Mataji, she used to visit Qatar, and Arvinda Prabhu, they both are in Sydney temple. One is doing a Pujari service. Mataji is also devotional service and does lot of preaching in Australia. She told me once, I was in Vrindavan for the first time. I saw Vrindavan being very dirty. I'm talking about probably 30 years back. And Mataji told Prabhu, oh, so it is so dirty here. So Prabhu said, I should not have brought you here in the first place, because unless you have a proper understanding of Vrindavan, I should not have brought you here. To that extent, Prabhu was, very upset, and then Mataji could understand, yes, what Prabhu said. At that time, she couldn't understand, but for a period of time, the purification with Srila Prabhupada and so many sannyasis, Mataji could understand the mood of Vrindavan. So, mood of Vrindavan is something totally different. So, he says, and also the slokas also talks about Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Kanishthadhikari in that. In this connection, he says Uttamadhikari has perfect knowledge and they have firm faith. Madhyamadhikari has got little knowledge but more faith. But Kanishthadhikari, they don't have neither the knowledge of the Shastras nor the faith in the Shastras. So these are the three things. Then always that Sambandha Abhideya, and they talk also about Prayojana. The Krishna Sambandha, Abhideya is Bhakti Abhideya, Prayojana is Prema Prayojana. So that is also discussed in that. So we'll see in detail when we go through the slokas. So we have seen between the devotees and the Sagajiyas. So what about the Sagajiyas? And it is also discussed in this chapter, Sagajiyas and Mayavadis. Because Sagajiyas, although they have a disqualification here, they have the faith in the Lord, and they accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is one thing. But Mayavadis, they are atheistic by nature, and Mayavadi, Krishna Parari, that is what Prabhupada says, and no idea about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, who is better, Mayavadis or Sahajiyas? Prabhupada always, Sahajiyas is much better than Mayavadis, because at least they have some sort of acceptance about the Lord himself. So that is what the chapter says. So visiting Jagannath temple, Haridas Thakura, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they were not allowed to enter the temple. See, normally when we are not allowed, even today Western devotees fight to enter the temple and they are stopped. Some people come out with, because Prabhupada said, if you chant the holy name, it is more than enough. Not visiting the temple is not important. But when Sanatana, Haridas Thakura and Rupa Goswami were stopped from the temple, they had a different understanding. So Haridas Thakura said, I am a Muslim by birth. Rupa Sanatana, they said, I had more connection with the Muslims, during the Nawab's time. So we have lost the culture of Sanatana Dharma. So we are not qualified. That although they are very, very well qualified, staying under the tree for so many years, doing preaching, we need a proper house for all these things. They have written thousands of slokas sitting under a tree. But they only said that, out of humility, they said that we are not qualified. Rupa Goswami always say, if I go to the Srimad Dwar and by mistake any pujari touches me, he will get contaminated. So, so I don't want to even enter the temple. That is kind of mood Rupa Goswami had, also Sanatana Goswami. And we don't want to create a turmoil in that area by entering the temple by force. So that is the kind of understanding they had. And Prabhupada also many times, although trying to convince the Puri authorities, but nonetheless, ultimately Prabhupada told them it is not important that you enter the temple. You were celebrating Ratha Yatra, which is more dedicated than the original Ratha Yatra itself. So you chant the holy name of the Lord, that's more than enough. That is what Prabhupada always tell people. So this is the kind of mood Prabhupada also told them. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every day visits the temple, and he witnessed the Uppala Bhoga, that is near the Garuda Stamba, where the Bhoga is offered to the Lord. So then he will go to meet the Sanatana Rupa Haridas Thakura, with prasadam sometimes. So sometimes we'll meet one of the two, and every day this meeting will go on. So we used to discuss about the devotional service. So this is the kind of gist we had from this 16 slokas. So we will go into the slokas at least on the surface level, so that we could understand the essence of these slokas. So to that extent I could understand, I will try to go into the slokas, but there are many of the slokas doesn't have a purport. It is all only what you call these are all only mostly translations are only there in most of the slokas. So we'll try to go into the slokas as much as we can. So we'll start with the verse number 61. Kindly hold on. I had a Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the 3 volumes. I'm not able to locate because once we came from Qatar and misplaced so many books here. So whatever I have, going through the mobile and taking class is very difficult. Normally I have a Bharatagraja Dasa with me to take the class. So to take it on a mobile phone is a bit more difficult, because the hard copy is easy to go through and take points. So we'll start with the verse number 61. The time given is 45 minutes, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so it should start at 9:30, 9:30 to say 10:15 or 10:20. So text number 61 we will go through. So we must have heard the previous class about the hidden meaning of the sloka recited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Madhya Lila 1.61. Sloka kari ekatala patre tilikiya apanavasara chale rakila gunjiya. After composing this verse, Rupa Goswami wrote in a palm leaf and put it on the roof of the thatched house in which he was living. So this remains of the previous Leela, where when Digvijay Pandit visited Navadip, and he wanted to, he is a Mayavadi, and he wanted to argue, debate with Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami told him, what do you want now? He said, I want to prove that I am better than you. So Rupa Goswami said, okay, what do you want now? He said, just write it in paper, I defeated you. So Rupa Goswami wrote it in paper, wrote it in a palm leaf, and gave it to that Digvijay Pandit. When Jiva Goswami heard this sort of thing, how these people could defeat my uncle, so he went to have a tarka, or the debate with the Mayavadi, and defeated him. So Mayavadi had no option but to give a return in palm leaf that Jiva Goswami has defeated him. So he took the thing in writing, and he also kept it in the roof of the house. One day when Rupa Goswami, after taking bath, came to see to the kutir and saw the palm leaf, he just saw what is written in that palm leaf, that Jiva Goswami has defeated this Mayavadi debater. So he got very angry, and when Jiva Goswami entered the kutir, he told him, don't enter the house from now on. So I made him sit outside the house for 21 days. Jiva Goswami was crying, and Sanatana has to convince him, see, he has got no father, and we have to take care of him. Whatever he has done is out of his ignorance. So kindly forgive him and accept him to the house. So finally, Rupa Goswami told Jiva Goswami, do you think that I could not have defeated this Mayavadi sannyasi? But that is not the purpose of our birth. Our birth is to enlighten the people who are ignorant of Krishna consciousness, not to debate with this Mayavadi, which is of no use. So the same thing which happened. So he put the palm leaf. It's in a different sort of circumstances we are seeing here. So he put the leaf in the thing after composing the verse. 62. Slogara ki kela samudra stana karite enakale aila prabhu tannare milite. After composing this verse and putting it on the roof of his house, Srila Rupa Goswami went to bathe in the sea. In the meantime, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the hut to meet him. Haridasa Thakurara Rupa Sanatana Jagannatha Mantre Nayana Tinejana. To avoid turmoil the three great personalities, Haridas Thakura, Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, and did not enter the temple of Jagannath. So this is the gist we gave just now. That so these people, although were although elevated in their devotional service, they were stopped by the Puri authorities, temple authorities. They only thought to themselves, this is a pure humbleness. They think that, we have got Muslim connection somehow. So because of this, we have been prohibited. So we don't want to create a turmoil in the temple. So let me stay away from the temple. So by their own achar, they made the other Western devotees feel if Sanatana, Rupa and Haridas Thakura did not protest entering of the temple, why should we protest? So this is the kind of many of the devotees, only few people went to debate with this, argue with the temple authorities, but many people followed the instruction of the Rupa, Sanatana and Haridas Thakura, also the instruction given by Srila Prabhupada, not to unnecessarily create a turmoil in the temple. So this is the kind of thing we are seeing. Text number 64. Mahaprabhu Jagannadare Upalabhoga Dekiya Nijagrehe Janaye Tinare Miliya. Every day, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to see the Upalabhoga ceremony at the temple Jagannath. After seeing this, he used to visit these three great personalities on his way to his own residence. So Upalabhoga is something which is offered near the Garuda Stamba. And even in South India, we say we got Balipida. This is in front of the Dwajastamba, you see. When they offer the Bhoga to the Lord, they offer also Bhoga in this Balipida. So this is in Puri, you see the Garuda Stamba, began that. There's a place where they offer this called Upala Bhoga. So this is what the verse says. Text number 1.65. Etina madhye yava kakaye jana tandre ache apanamile prabhura niyama. If one of these three were not present, he would meet the others. That was a regular practice. If all the three are not present, either Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami, he will make sure Mahaprabhu will meet one of them compulsorily every day. Daivasi Prabhu Yabe Udvete Chaila Chaleganjo Talapatre Se Sloga Paila. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the residence of Srila Rupa Goswami, he accidentally saw the palm leaf on the roof, and thus he read the verse composed by him. Text number 1.67. Slogapati Ache Prabhu Avistahaya Rupa Gosani Asipade Dandavat Hana. After meeting the verse, after reading the verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went into the ecstatic mood. While he was in that state, Rupa Goswami came and immediately fell down on the floor like a rod. So when Rupa Goswami saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has read the verse, so he fell at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as if that, you should have informed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of his verse before writing this verse. And like Brahma, when he's in the Madhya Lila, like a golden rod, he fell at the feet of Lord Krishna. Once he came to know that it is Supreme Personality of Godhead who played the Brahma Madhya Lila, even Rupa Goswami fell like a rod. Normally, when in Krishna Katha Desh, Vaikuntha Prabhu makes sure that nobody says Hare Krishna by folding their hands. So Prabhu will fall on the ground, make his full dandavat in Dharmaliya. And if anybody says Hare Krishna just by folding hands, he will just chastise them. You have become very old now to make Dandavat Pranam, you will always say chastise. So many devotees, when I came into India, so the same mood was carried on by me in India. When we go to the temple, especially when you make a Dandavat Pranam, people first will pass through you. They will say that you are making a Dandavat Pranam, and they will walk out, seeing you, and they will not even make Hare Krishna by hand gesture. So to that extent, I had a very bitter experience in India. I don't know why this sort of thing is not very much present in most of the temples here. Even saying Hare Krishna, many of the temple devotees, they will not say Hare Krishna to us. So when Krishna Katha Desh, if it is a place which is not conducive for our Dandavat, we at least say, Hare Krishna, not even folding, because when other people are around, we may not be able to show our gesture. But the problem is this Dandavat Pranam is something which is very, very essential for a Vaishnava. The 8 angas has to fall down. This is the main thing is develops a humility, Humility is only very important unless you make, the very purpose of Dandavat Pranam is to make you humble. But the problem in India is, unless, even if you make a Dandavat Pranam, people don't respond like how they used to do in Krishna Katha Desh. This is one thing which is morose and always but in our smaller congregation in the houses, anybody walks into the house, makes a Dandavat Pranam here, and we also reciprocate, irrespective, because by thanks to my yoga practice also, along with my devotion service, that makes my body always fit, because we do Surya Namaskar every day 5 times in a yoga class. So making a full Dandavat Pranam for me is not a difficult thing. Even when I go to a temple, I see many people of my age also, they don't do Dandavat, they do only half Pranam. It is of course because some people may be having back problems, mostly people due to so many reasons, like due to the weight, knee problems, or back problem, they used to do only half Dandavat. By Krishna's grace, we are able to keep our body, because that is, I always tell, you are fit because of yoga. I will always say my body is fit because of Krishna consciousness. Because he is the person who is in charge of everything department. So I said, even the so-called Ashtanga Yoga is from Patanjali Muni, is only an incarnation of Adishesh. So everything emanates from Krishna only. So I always attribute my fitness only to first Krishna consciousness, then only to yoga. So to that extent, we are able to, recently last week I went to Tirupati by steps from the downhill. So I could, I was at least 1 hour ahead of anybody in that. Many people are younger than me, but still they could not catch up with me. They said, how come you were able to climb so fast? I said, it's because of our devotional service. So, at least, to, encourage people, to practice somehow or other to practice Krishna consciousness, always attribute our even bodily, fitness to Krishna consciousness. That is the way we have been brought up like that. So the thing is, unless your body and mind cooperate, you will not be able to do devotional service properly. So that is what Krishna consciousness does for us. Text number 1.68. Uti Mahaprabhu Tanre Chapala Maria Kahite Lagila Kichu Kote Korea. When Rupa Goswami fell down like a rod, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and gave him a slap. Then taking him on his lap, he began to speak to him. So I was trying to research why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to give it, because probably the translation of Sanskrit to English could have been not so close. But giving a slap is out of, because when we tap a child, out of affection, that is called, that is not a slap, that is just a smile, tapping of their cheeks. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a slap to Rupa Goswami, probably because you could capture the meaning of his words written by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That could be a very friendly slap, probably. That is what I understood through this sloka. Text number 1.610. More shlokara abhipriya na jane kona jane mora manera kada tumi janile ke mana. No one knows the purport of my words. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how could you understand my intention? So this is only through the mercy of the Lord, many things. So through material senses, all the indriyas are material. When we try to understand even Bhagavad Gita for that matter, or Bhagavatam matter, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these are on a different level footing. Through the material senses, we are trying to, understand the leelas of all these great saintly person and Krishna Lila, anything, God's Lila, Acharya's Leelas. Everything, because we are always having the material mind. To read the spiritualism through this material senses becomes difficult, and many a time we always come across impediments while proceeding further. Sometimes I'm stuck in Bhagavatam. Many times I go to my senior devotees and ask the explanation, what is written here? Can you just explain? And some of them clears my doubts. Some of them, they said, even I'm not able to understand. So I always ask why everything is hidden in the scriptures, because you should make a real effort, because if you see the sea, if you do the fishing in the, do a surface thing in the sea, you will get only fish. But if you do a deep diving, you get the corals and diamonds. So that is the advantage of deep sea diving. So is that when you delve deep into the all these scriptures, a day will come, you will be able to do better and better. Once Guru Maharaj told me, I said, Guru Maharaj, the same Bhagavad sloka I had taken last year, but this time it sounds different. Why it is? Is that because you are getting purified? The more you go into spiritualism, it is because it is like a bottomless pit, you used to say. So the more you go into devotional service, the more you will be able to experience the nectar of the sloka. So don't think that whatever you explained last year was incorrect, but you got a better understanding this time. So that is the way we are having the experience with all these things. So although many of these things is difficult to understand, even Prabhupada always say, many times people say, Prabhupada, you always say that we have to read all these books to understand. You cannot understand the Lord. Then devotees, Western devotees will ask, then why to read the scriptures? Then you will say that you have to read the scriptures to understand. You cannot know the Lord because He is unfathomable. To understand the Lord on a surface level may be okay in the initial stages. The more you try to understand the Lord through the senior devotees, through the many lectures or the Vaishnavas, you feel that the many hidden meanings comes out and you really enjoy that sort of thing. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciate Rupa Goswami's intellect for able to decipher whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has written in the verse. 1.7 Yeta Bali Tanera Bahu Prasanna Prasada Kariya Swarupa Gosanire Shloka Dekile Lanam. Saying the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed various benedictions upon Rupa Goswami, and taking the verse, he later showed it to Swarupa Goswami. His secretary is Swarupa Goswami is a person Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always consults. So, being a close associate of Mahaprabhu, he showed the verse written by Rupa Goswami. Swarupa Puchane Prabhu Hayava Vishmite Mora Manera Kada Rupa Janile Kemata. Having shown the verse to Swarupa Damodar with great wonder, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him how Rupa Goswami could understand the intention of his mind. So here Prabhupada writes in a purport that when he says that when Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was presented an essay by Srila Prabhupada, he showed it to his disciple. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was so proud of Prabhupada at the time. So he says, very humbly, Prabhupada writes, how could we have understood the intention of Srila Prabhupada? So this is the secret, the same sort of Leela we were also following when, although Prabhupada met his Guru maybe a couple of times, you could understand the instruction given by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj to the letter. That's why she was so proud of Srila Prabhupada all the time, his Guru. So that is the kind of same reciprocation at the time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had about, Swarupa Damodar had about Rupa Goswami. Here we say 1.72 Swarupa kahe yata janila tomara mana tate jani haya tumara kripara bhajana. Swarupa Damodar Goswami replied to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if Rupa Goswami can understand your mind and intention, we must have your Lordship's special benediction. So normally, the knowledge is conveyed in different ways, sometimes through Vani, sometimes through eye-to-eye contact, sometimes through Hridaya to Hridaya. So likewise, when like Guru Maharaj was searching for words to praise the Lord at the time, there are two versions when in that Shang, Mahavishnu brought a milk to feed Dhruva, so that he could recite, he could get jnana and recite slokas about the Lord. And some people say by touching of the conch shell itself, Dhruva Maharaj gets the knowledge to recite the slokas. So if Guru Kripa is there, sometimes we are able to do anything in. So it is out of the text, but because it's a very interesting reading. There was Acharya in Vaishnava Sampradaya. So he had disciples. One day he was taking a class, and his cook was hiding behind a door and listening to the lecture. So these disciples saw the cook listening to the lecture. They were very amused because they said the cook is after all a cook. What he knows about all the scriptures. So they come out of the lecture. So cook asked them, what sort of subject Guru took today? He said it is called Musala Kesalam. It is about a spinach. So Guru was watching this disciple teaching the cook. He called the cook, are you really interested in the knowledge? He said, yes, very much, because I'm not able to understand being an ordinary cook. So the Guru gave the knowledge to his cook, and he wrote a 6,000 sloka thing. It is called Musala Kesalam. On the same subject matter, he wrote 6,000 verses praising the Lord and his Guru. So if the Guru is bestowing the mercy upon the disciple, what cannot happen? So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed the mercy on Srila Rupa Goswami so that he could continue with this devotional service and spread the Krishna consciousness throughout the region. 1.7 Prabhu kahe tarami santushtahana alingana kaila sarva sakti sanchariya. The Lord said, I was so pleased with Rupa Goswami. I embraced him and bestowed upon him all necessary potencies for preaching the Bhakti cult. So this is what the gurus can transform the disciple into ordinary people, into great preachers. So that is what the difference between a touchstone and Acharya is. Touchstone will give everything, but it cannot give itself. But Acharyas are so great, they then give themselves to the disciple once they are qualified enough. So Acharyas only decipher the capacity of the disciple. Accordingly, he preaches. For different disciple, the Acharyas will discriminate and preach. It doesn't mean he is discriminating. How receptive you are. The Janaka Maharaja's story, many people think that his Guru was discriminating them and between Janaka, because Janaka was the ruler. But once the Guru creates a imaginary fire, so that all these disciples started running to save their cowpin. But Janaka never moved out the seat. He stayed. So when they came back, they were ashamed to see that Janaka Maharaja was still sitting, although his city was in ruins by the fire. But it was only a magical act. So then Guru said, see, this is the kind of dedication Janaka had for my teaching. That's why I am teaching you much more than what you people are able to grasp. So normally Gurus discriminate between the his disciple. Doesn't mean that he is discriminating in a material platform. And a spiritual understanding, it is important what is to be conveyed to the people. So when we give lectures to different kinds of audience, according to the mood of the audience only, we normally lecture. For a neophyte devotee, start about Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these Bhagavatam and all, you find it difficult to digest. So Guru Maharaj always said, when you feed the child, you feed with a spoon, not with a ladle. So they will puke, they will vomit. So that's why, according to the time, place, and circumstances, he will always give the instruction, you must preach. So sometimes an ordinary preacher, and that is a very humble devotee, and he will give a lecture in Hindi to his crowd. And once I was hiding behind the door in Dharmaliya, there were 60 people in the hall. Rapt attention to that devotee was giving lecture in Hindi. At this time, I understood, see, this is what is the power of communication and the mercy of the Guru, where any devotee can go to any extent to preach upon the understanding of the Shastras and according to the mercy of the Guru. So that's why big education won't help sometimes. But I met a auto rickshaw driver once upon a time. He's maintaining a temple in one of the jails in Chennai. He visits the temple, visits the jail, the prison ministry. It was there, now it is not there. So he had made the hardcore convicts, murderers. They are on payroll for life. They will never come out of the sentence, and he will teach to them Krishna consciousness. And he made them a great devotee. They will offer in the jail, they will cook bhoga, they will offer bhoga, they will honor bhoga, and they will sit and read Bhagavad Gita. So the jail warden said, "What kind of transformation you have brought to my jail? These people are hardcore criminals and very dangerous to deal with them. But through your preaching, they have become mellowed down so much. They are like a rose petal now. They are so soft in their behavior." They thanked ISKCON devotee for making a real transformation in their life. So this is what a devotee can achieve through his preaching and mercy of a guru. So this is what is happening here. So this is the last sloka, I think. Sorry. My internet is kindly hold on. Sorry. .74 Yoga Patra Hayagudar Rasa Vivechana Tumiyo Kahiyo Tare Buddha Rasakyana. I accept Srila Rupa Goswami as a quite fit to understand the confidential melodies of devotional service, and I recommend that we explain the devotional service to him further. He tells Surabhadra Mother, and he is the fittest person. Well, the right kind of patra, they say, the kind of vessel, he should be also a recipient of the knowledge. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Surabha Goswami, that he also further cultivated his devotional service. 1.6 Esabe Kabiyacha Vishtara Karina Sankshepa Udesha Kaila Prastava Patina. I shall describe all these incidents elaborately later on. Now I have given only a brief reference. So whatever is given here is only a brief reference. So whoever takes the class, so you will be able to, we got a big surprise in the next sloka. You are going to see that. So let us wait for the surprise from the next sloka. How certain characters are not found in scriptures, like Radharani's name is not mentioned in anywhere in Bhagavatam, like Aradhana is the only thing which is seen. Vaishnavas, Sri Vaishnavas don't accept Radharani as sometimes say she is, so they say Bhudevi, Sri Devi, Neela Devi. Neela Devi is Radharani. Some Vaishnavas start accepting Radharani as Neela Devi in the incarnation. So, but many of the Vaishnavas don't approve of Radharani's role. Although Gaudiya Vaishnavism keeps like Lakshmi Devi in Sri Sampradaya, we keep Radharani at the highest helm. Like Vrindavana, if you go, they say only Radha, Radha, not even Krishna. So to that extent, they are captivated by the mercy of Radharani in Vrindavan. But that mood has to be created, and to understand, we have to read, we have to listen to more and more Chaitanya Charitamrita. So purification takes place at a very slow pace only, you know that, because we are always, we have got a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, although 4 days we are not having any program, we are associating with the materialistic people, makes us more difficult to come out of that Maya clutch. So, so we are trying to, increase the number of classes, but the attendance is always thin, not more than 10 to 15 people in a class. So with that sort of thing, we are trying to, cope up in India. So very difficult, but we are trying our best, because what Guru Maharaj undergoes pain with that is preaching. So at least insignificant portion of preaching we have to do. With that hope only, we are continuing preaching in India, although it is it's a very Herculean task. I'm not exaggerating a bit. Don't think that I'm praising Guru Maharaj like this, but what he does is something unimaginable for us, because sometimes we get demotivated by all these things, because one ISKCON class I was giving for the Chennai temple, they asked me, Prabhuji, I'm not able to communicate properly. I'm not able to convince many. So it is not my purification. I'm not able to convey. I told him, no, Prabhu, because Gurmena Avirtya Vahanar, Yada Adesho Malena Cha, Yata Ulbena Avirtvam Karbat, Tada Tena Idam Amritam. This sloga I always quote. He said, people are in 3 coverings, Prabhu. You are pure, but the recipient is not pure enough to take your knowledge. So for some people, they take it immediately. For some people, they come and go and come and go. After a long time, they become devotees, and third level of devotees, they never come into Krishna consciousness. So don't deal with them at all. I always tell. So this is what is happening. So, one boy in ISKCON, he came from Qatar and he told me, Prabhu, he met me in Madras, very enthusiastic boy. He told me, I can convince anybody to make a devotee. He told me, I told him, you convince me. He said, you are already, no, I will act as even an atheist. You try to convince me that make me a devotee. He said, God is everywhere. I said, I cannot see God anywhere. Then I started Vedanta, it is called Vedantavada. Then Prabhu, you are praying to the Lord, you are doing Abhishek and all, you are putting up. I said, for argument's sake, try to convince me. I told him it is not, I quoted this same slogan and said, don't think that you will be able to convince anybody. Whoever is receptive, try to convince them. But don't waste time on everybody, because it is a young boy, got a very charged up preacher. But normally we encounter all these people in various places when we run the Gosala program. I have the same, it is a floating crowd. When we sing a nice kirtan, people are dancing, people just walk, even not listening to the nice, at least music sake they could listen, they will not even stop to listen. So to that extent, they are in the 3rd covering. I used to think they are in the 3rd covering. Probably after Janmas, they may get a ruchi and they may come into Krishna consciousness. So we always pray to Krishna intensely to bestow His mercy on these people who are hardly difficult to convince them. Hare Krishna, sorry, I think I have taken the extra time, kindly forgive me for this. And if you have anything to discuss or anything to present, kindly do it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Just we realized that we finished the time. It was so nice. Practical instructions, practical messages we are giving. Thank you so much, Prabhu. It is a wonderful class. Prabhu, I have a couple of questions, rather not questions. One is, can you please further explain about Achar, Vichar, Prachar? That point you mentioned initially. Can you elaborate more, Prabhu?
Yeah, so Shishtachar, Vichar and Prachar was one thing. It was taken from the purport. Achar, Vichar and Prachar. Achar is, that's why they call Acharya. The difference between a Guru and Acharya. Acharya is a person who practices and preach. So Achar is you have to follow the instruction first. Vichar is harp on the, like the herbivorous animal, they chew and they take the essence of the food. We have to chew the essence of the preaching, that is Vedic study and prachar. Then with the proper understanding, you have to preach. Prabhupada always says, without reading my books, don't go and preach. Because if you try to preach without achar and vichar, you may not be able to convince anybody. So prachar has to be done as a last resort, not as a just read it, without preparation, go and present Krishna consciousness to anybody. We will not be able to convince everybody totally.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Prabhu, I have one question. Prabhuji, you mentioned about Rupa Goswami chastising Jiva Goswami for defeating Digvijay Pandit, that Mayavadi philosopher. And that time he makes a statement that our purpose is to deliver people ignorant in Krishna consciousness. So why you waste time on this? So he mentioned that I could have also defeated, but since the purpose is something different. But the question is, Prabhu, even that Mayavadi philosopher also ignorant in Krishna consciousness. So how to understand that what Jiva Goswami has done is wrong? Because he is also trying to help that ignorant person who is a Mayavadi philosopher to make him understand about Krishna by defending him. So then what way Jiva Goswami has done wrong than what Rupa Goswami was expecting?
Yeah. Prabhu, actually, Mayavadis or by nature, you could talk to them, because if you talk to a person who is ignorant of scripture, we will be able to make out very easily and we can preach to them. But Mayavadis are so well versed in slokas, but they don't know the real meaning. Like Prabhupada Saraswati asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why you dance on the road? You have got so much knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, why don't you preach? He said, no, my spiritual master said you are a useless person. Only thing you could do is chanting of the holy name. So when Mahaprabhu acted in this way, once I asked Guru Maharaj to instruct the faithless person of the glories of the holy name, and the initiation ceremony was taking place. I asked Guru Maharaj after the initiation, Guru Maharaj, how can I make out a person is eligible to accept our preaching? How to make out? He said, preach to him only 3 times. If he is not, you are able to mend him, just leave him and go to the other person, because there are thousands of people waiting to become Krishna consciousness. So Mayavadis, they have a knowledge. See, to Prabhu unlearn something, unlearn is a very difficult thing. Always Prabhupada tells the story of a person who doesn't know anything about violin. The master charges only 5 rupees. A person who knows half of violin, the master charges 50 rupees. Because to unlearn whatever knowledge, half knowledge he has, we have to unlearn that half knowledge and teach him from the scratch. So a person who is fresh into scriptures, you can preach to him. But a person who has got half knowledge like the Mayavadis, Mayavadi, what is in there? Sarva Vinash. You know that always Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, and Prabhupada also says, that he tells the Western devotees, don't go to Mayavadis, because they are well versed in Sanskrit. They will quote so many things from the scriptures which you don't know. Ultimately, you will be baffled, and one point of time you think that what those people are talking is the truth. And you may transform yourself into as a Mayavadi. So the best way is to Mayavadi Krishna Paradi. Prabhupada says in many places. So they will try to, because they don't accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead because of their concocted version of the Lord. So they will defeat us very easily, Prabhu. I've seen Mayavadis in Chennai. They talk so nicely and will not be able to. I told one Mayavadi was giving a class. He had his 40 disciples with them in the hall. Then he said that he talked about all those things that I can become better than Lord Shiva. I asked him, can you take a drop of poison? He has an ocean of poison he has taken. He said, I can drink more than that. When he said, what kind of arguments you can put? And all his disciples started clapping also. So he became belittled, not because he has spoken sense, because if the person does, I can become better than a god, the person says, then what kind of argument you can put before him? So I just walked out of the hall saying that.
Given a bottle of poison to himself, Prabhu.
So when I asked him, this is the way people react, Prabhu. So Mayavadis are well versed. If you see the TV, so many Sri Venkateswara Bhakti channel, morning to night, they are reciting slokas. All those people. But we don't understand what they are chanting. And I have no idea whether they are real devotees. When I chant in my Venkateswara temple, every day I go to chant around 16 rounds. Those people really respect us, Prabhu. Those so-called Advaitis, they come to me, what we are doing a very nice job. They don't know what to do, but they appreciate us. Like Sri Rangan temple, ISKCON devotees, foreigners are allowed inside the temple because they are wearing a Vaishnava dress and they are serious kind of devotees. So although the Mayavadis, some of them who are exposed to ISKCON, they respect us so much, Prabhu. So Mayavadis, it is better because they know a lot of Sanskrit slokas which may not be, they may know the meaning or they may not know the meaning, but they don't have a proper understanding of the law. So it is better to stay off from them, Prabhu. So Guru Maharaj has given the instruction. 3 people you instruct, 3 times you instruct. If he is not following, just leave him and go. Prabhu, just a minute, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu, Abhasa Bandhu, this is the problem in Chennai. So many people come and disturb during the class, although instructions were not to disturb during this time. Yes, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Prabhu, it is clear.
So that is the way, Prabhu. So as we say that Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami was matured Vaishnava, but Jiva Goswami was in his youth. Although he is called Tattva-acharya in ISKCON, more than Rupa Sanatana. At that time, probably he thought that my uncle has been humiliated by this Digvijay Pandit. Let me belittle him by arguing with him and winning him. So Rupa Goswami clearly knows that the essence of this birth is to preach only to the believers. That is what Rupa Goswami thought like that at the time. So Mayavadis are difficult to be convinced, Prabhu. That is the purpose of this, the meaning of this purport.
Thank you. It's very, very clear. Devotees, have any questions? Please take advantage of Prabhu's presence. Please ask questions. Anybody has or any comments, any point to be discussed?
Yeah, any comments also welcome.
Take advice. Take advice from Prabhu.
And more than thing, if you have a comment also, you can make, Prabhu. Normally in our class, we take a notes and we recap the thing, but now the time is too short. But 45 minutes class will be there, 15 minutes of recapping will be there always. So that even the teacher will understand that whatever he has taught is making any sense or not. You know, that is how people do that. So anyway, any questions you can ask or any comments you can pass. So this is also, you know, give us more knowledge to us.
No one has anything to offer to ask questions. So if no one has any questions, then we'll end the session here. So you can please glorify Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Prabhuji, at least if anybody could have a point to ponder in this thing, any points, because they must have taken notes. So any couple of points they could, you know, mention what they learned in the class, because I will also be convinced that I am not, you know,
yeah, it's nice.
Gone at the surface level.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I like the much the Sishtachar, Achar and Vichar.
Okay.
So that is excellent, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I have one point which is
yeah.
I have one point very, very nice realization which is really struck to my heart is that difference between the touchstone and spiritual master.
Yeah.
Like a touchstone can convert anything touched into a gold, but spiritual master converts even the disciple into a touchstone so that he can convert whomever he is meeting into a pure devotee. So it is very nice, nice realization. Wonderful point.
Many lectures we listen, prepare many points we get. So so this is the way, you know, we learn more and more. You know, the Guru Maharaj always say the learning will stop at the last breath. So that is what we are undergoing. So, you know, any comments people would like to
pass?
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. Very wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhu, my
tell me, Mataji.
Prabhu, as you told that Rupa Goswami, out of humility, he said to Digvijay Pandit in return that you are the Pandit. Prabhu. So the same way, I think one more incident also took place. I think Rupa Goswami and Vallabha Bhatta, if I'm not wrong, Prabhu.
Yeah,
so
yeah, okay.
I think Vallabha Bhatta also says a similar way to Rupa Goswami. Then the same things, Jiva Goswami, there also he gets angry in a Prabhu, if I'm not wrong. So how to understand this one also, Prabhu, if you can clarify me.
The thing is, Mataji, when real Vaishnavas in the initial stages, we tend to react because of the age factor is there. I've seen people who are in the Dharmalaya also, young devotees are really charged up. And Bhagavad Prabhu always say that, you know, that person is over preaching to devotees who are entering Dharmalaya. You will not discriminate between there are 16 divisions in the Dharmalaya, people taking classes. So you will go and preach to everybody. So you'll always see to that particular devotee is not preaching to everyone. he's bombarding them with so much information and they run away from, our congregation. So sometimes, we tend to get upset with a lot of comments against the scriptures or the Lord himself, or Mahaprabhu. So we have to maintain a balance, Mataji, because sometimes when the other person has got no understanding, you cannot argue with him. It is better to move away from the place. So Jiva Goswami is a very learned scholar, but at that age, normally plays a vital role when it touches the ego. Even the devotee become well purified, he will have some sort of ego. When somebody is touching his ego, he will naturally blast. So, but that is not the way we do it. But Pranada Pisunichana, that slogan. So you have to be humble. Even that is what Rupa and Sanatana could practice. But Jiva Goswami was young at that time, so he reacted like that. In Vallabha story, it is the same thing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pradhamataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful nectarian class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are so many points are there. Many devotees already expressed. I wanted to convey the communication skills you are telling. When devotees you told to wait for the initiation, they were not convinced, and when Guru Maharaj told, they were very smilingly and coming. This is actually we are also facing. So I was remembering, yes, this happens to us also. And you are mentioning when some devotees, sometimes even we also reading scriptures, we couldn't understand the meaning deeply. And but after some time we are reading and reading again, that time we feel like, oh, this time we are feeling we can understand the meaning little bit differently. This is also very practical point, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And you mentioned that if we surf in the upar means simply only fish we will get, and if we go deeper, we surf deeper, then only we will get the corals. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay. Well, I asked Guru Maharaj how you were able to convince these three devotees that I was not able to. He told me Satyam Guruyat, Priyam Guruyat. He said, you talk the truth in a, probably you don't know how to talk in a Priyam way, So in a convincing way and with a lot of love you should communicate. And Guru Maharaj had that's why he's Guru for so many thousands of people. So I said, this is the word you told me, Satyam Guruyat, Priyam Guruyat. So I told them, you are not eligible for now. So wait till the next visit, I will consider, He has not even given the word. See, that is the beauty of, we would have committed. And Guru Maharaj said, next time wait. So they were happy when Guru Maharaj uttered this word, and, so that is how, we sometimes we communicate and, and this will happen in any congregation, because people always think that we are discriminating against each other devotees. But that is the way the Guru is, Guru has got a better vision than the disabled himself. That's why he is a Guru.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Welcome, Mataji.
Any other points, devotees, to share? No one? Anything, Prabhu? No one has any point to share, discuss? Prabhu, I think no one has anything to add on.
Yeah, Prabhu, thank you. Actually, I've taken a lot of time from you because it's more than 1 hour, 15 minutes, because the class is only for 1 hour, you said. So anyway, I don't want to take a valuable time of the devotees,
Because Prabhu, you have something to add? Vipigan Prabhu, you have something to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Prabhuji, Dandavat, Prabhu.
Hari Bol. It's such
Hare
a pleasure to hear you, Prabhuji. This is the first time I got the blessings from
Yeah.
you directly. It was a pleasure, Prabhuji.
Thanks,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much.
Welcome, Prabhuji.
Vipigan Prabhu is attending sessions from London, Prabhu. He is with family. He is in London. He is a regular in our Chaitanya Charitamrita classes for last few years.
Very good. Yeah.
He and Mataji, they are very regularly attending. Thank you, VP.
They are in the most difficult situation, Prabhu. London, USA, wherever you are, the congregation is, I know, because congregation is difficult to find. With that, they are practicing me, and hats off to them. Like Prabhupada always says, preaching in Gulf or Middle East or Western countries is not that easy job. But when they are practicing, they are more elevated than people who are practicing in places where are conducive for devotional service.
Thank you, Prabhu. So,
Thanks, Prabhuji, Mataji, for practicing Krishna consciousness.